Welcome to She's Got Guts, where functional nutrition meets ancient wisdom to bring you grounded insights and practical tools for your wellness journey. Join Laura, licensed Eastern medicine practitioner and wellness wizard, and Molly, registered dietitian and gut health expert, as they unpack trends, tackle bloating, balance hormones, and help you thrive in modern womanhood without completely frickin' losing your mind. Let's do this. We are thrilled to have you here today.
I'm so happy to be here. And I'm so glad you guys are all here because this is going to be a really good series of episodes. I'm really excited about this because I feel like this is stuff you and I are just saying on repeat to our patients and clients over and over and over again. And it's very nuanced with each person. So it's so nice to kind of just give each area the space it deserves and talk about it.
And what we're talking about is abdominal fat in perimenopause, menopause, otherwise known as menopause belly, otherwise known as fupa.
Why the fuck are you on me? Where did you come from? Everything was fine. And now my pants don't fit. And I hate it.
Yes. So over the course of the next 5 episodes, talk about the 5 different things that are involved in this. Because of course, if it was just move more, eat less, then you would have gotten rid of it.
Yeah. And we like to talk about pillars here, or facets, whatever you want to call them. But we're going to cover fiber. Molly's going to do a fiber deep dive. We're going to talk about nervous system regulation. That's where I love to shine. We're going to talk about blood sugar balance. We're going to dive into immune function and inflammation and why those are important in that exact belly madness. And last but not least, exercise.
Love it.
Yeah, me too. Because a lot of the time it's all the things you're thinking about and you're like, what's first? What's going to work for me? How extreme do I need to be? And most certainly, whatever the hell you were doing in your 20s and 30s is most likely not going to work. You're going to have to flip your whole world upside down.
Yeah.
Your brain is going to be the scramble of the 3 eggs you have to eat in the morning to get 20 grams of protein. What the fuck?
That's right. And unfortunately, but fortunately, a lot of the buzzwords that we see out there stem from one of these facets. So as we unpack them, we'll talk to you about what is the actual thing that people are talking about versus what the thing you may have heard about, and how we can apply each of these things to our lives and put them into practice without actually having to change, become a different person.
When this all of a sudden changes and you're like, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know how I'm feeling. I want to rage. I'm so exhausted. I don't have my spark. I think I'm doing my purpose right now, but I kind of want to flip my whole world upside down. And getting grounded into what you used to know that works. So what comes up for you when we talk about like kind of the evolution of this little pooch pouch or this little pouch we have on our tummy that we really don't want there, but we recognize that we have to love it even still because it has a function?
I know. It's really annoying. Well, I've always had one. And I believe that it is to some degree. I believe that it's because I have Crohn's disease and my body was using it for some protection of my sensitive intestines. But you know, we have like our colon is
actually.
I know.
Like, I love that. I'm like, oh, your body was like, I got you, Molly. I'm going to protect you right here where this is.
We're going to protect you from ever looking good in a bathing suit.
Oh,
oh, just kidding. I don't.
The very first time I've never had a period. I skipped one. Yep. 49 years old. No period. And I didn't like it. It went pretty well though. I'm not going to lie. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Sleep and all those things, dialed, but it finally came this morning. I was like, oh,
wow.
Blue moon in Sagittarius brought it along. Thank you. And I do feel relieved. I don't feel tired like I used to, which is interesting. But anyway, yes, it's such a unusual time to feel like yourself. Yeah. And finding hopefully at the end of this series of these 5, you'll feel comfortable to reach into the toolbox and be like, I'm going to try some of those things they mentioned that are kind of simple and easy. And I have a framework in my brain. I have some context and some content, I guess, to kind of move with and see what works. And then, of course, call either one of us if you get stuck, but still.
So as soon as I miss one, I am going to be shit talking my body on the daily. Like, don't you ever come back.
Well, I kind of thought about it today. I was like, this could be my last one. What if I never have one again? It's like the last time that my child nursed on my breast, or it's the last time they crawled into my bed when they were little. You just never know that they're going to be the last moment. And it actually is pretty beautiful to think about it that way, because this world is really hard to be present in, and little things like that. This is our last snuggle. This is you just never know.
You never know.
So I was like, as I'm cleaning up this bloody mess, I'm like, this could be my last cleanup bloody mess. I highly doubt that, because it was just one that I missed, and I'm at the very beginning. But still, you just never know. Got to be present.
Yeah, you do. If this is you and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's happening to my body, I don't recognize myself anymore, I'm raising teenagers, or I'm super busy with my career, or my parents are ill, or whatever it is, and
or all three for some people,
a menopause belly,
and I have jowls,
yeah,
and everybody can fuck off.
For sure, they can.
For sure,
but for me, they always could. So that's not new.
Yeah. Your sense of humor is my favorite.
We use fat to create estrogen, and we use fat to store estrogen. We also can pull it and burn it for fuel if we need to. So yes, it reserves for pregnancy and breastfeeding when our body needs more energy. And as women, that's our major biological purpose. So we do want that to happen, but at the same time, very, very frustrating. And a lot of people also find that this comes about with no warning. You see older women and see their body shapes, but no one says, yes, this will most likely also happen to you if you don't change some things. And then we go to our old standbys, right? Eating less, moving more cardio, whatever we did in the 90s that, made us just lose weight so quickly. And that doesn't work. In fact, the weight seems to be coming on more when we do that. So I think that's another, like I said, a huge frustration for people.
Yes, exactly. Because you're like, wait, I'm not taking a different approach to the same organism, and understanding that this is actually here for a reason. And we need to work with it in order to, it's almost like that's there. When you think about it as a reserve, you can kind of think about it as your little bottle of strength, right? Like it's there to provide you with resilience and stamina and to be able to survive. And that is actually really beautiful. Hence all the other things we've said that's really not amazing. But in order to use it in a way that is appropriate, right? Or not have too much of it, or not feel like you are teetering on metabolic syndrome, or maybe even your A1C is going up, or your cholesterol starts looking a little bit different. To me, those are all things that are like, we need to get that, metabolism, so to speak, matching what your body's physiology is. And there are a lot of different little pillars, like we'll discuss in the upcoming episodes, on how to kind of handle that. And what I wanted to say is, with that reserve and having it there, it is kind of an opportunity to use that as a way to kind of turn it into muscle, I guess, if that makes sense. But if you look up, like, how do you get rid of abdominal fat? How do you get rid of it? It isn't going to consider, and studies aren't being done, that you are in a perimenopausal body. So it will say things like, go get HIIT workouts, eat a little bit less, make sure that it might suggest something like eat fiber first. I saw that pop up once. I was like, what are people seeing when they actually look that up? And that's what you see. They tell you to do exactly the messaging from the 90s that isn't in a perimenopausal body. And those pillars, the pillars that we'll talk about, are a great way to kind of think about where the nuance lies. Like, this is where we kind of just keep coming back to these. But big picture wise, what is it about that, like, messaging that we're giving ourselves in the morning to, like, set the tone for the metabolism, essentially? Like, that's one of the things to think of, is like, I'm setting the tone for my metabolism in the morning. You're also doing it at night when you go to bed, FYI. If you're having wine at night and going to bed, that's not going to set the metabolism very well for the morning. But if you have the opportunity to start in the morning, one of the things to add in is fiber, which is awesome. Before we dive too much into fiber, because we're going to do a real deep dive on that here in our little 5 pillars, Let's talk
Amazing.
about why we have abdominal fat and why we have visceral fat and what the hell is the difference?
Yes, let's talk about it. Visceral fat is a certain kind of fat that is just around the organs. And as we get an increase in this fat that is just kind of on our body, first of all, but also just in general, it does help the body absorb and store fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. It also plays a role in hormone regulation by releasing the hunger hormone. So, not necessarily going to help hormone regulation because leptin, the hunger hormone, no, leptin is the satiety hormone and ghrelin
And
is the hunger
ghrelin
hormone.
is the ghrelin is like
And
"Grr, I'm hungry.
growl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growl. Rawr.
So
Leptin.
those signals may be over signaling. And also, insulin helps your body turn food into energy and manage your blood sugar levels. When we look at that, some of those things are going to be a little off. But the more fat that we get around the waist, the larger the waist measurement gets. And the ratio that we look at to determine metabolic disease risk is your waist hip ratio. Much more effective than BMI, especially in women, because the BMI was made for a 5'11" white man. So with your waist hip ratio, when your waist gets bigger, your hips maybe stay the same or get a little bigger. We start to get concerned because insulin has a harder time working and all of that. So we want to, if we can, manage that ratio. That's one of the things that we're really focusing on is how can we make sure that we're doing everything that we can for our health to reduce our chronic disease risk and improve our insulin sensitivity. That's one of our pillars is blood sugar rate.
When you have the visceral fat, it's weird how it feels because you're like, my pants don't fit, but I kind of feel like I'm the same. There may not be bigger from the inside out. On your pants don't fit. Most likely you've got some visceral fat that's most likely just.
But keeping in mind also that visceral fat does add pressure onto your organs and contribute to inflammation in your body. And it's different than just regular old fat because it is more linked to like chronic disease, high cholesterol, heart disease, and like fatty liver, whether it's alcoholic fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or whatever they're calling it now. That is how much how much fat is on the outside of your liver, like how big your liver is because of the addition of fat. So we want to be careful because eventually this starts to mess with the portal vein and the veins going in and out of these organs and how they communicate with each other and how nutrients travel through your body. So we are doing all the things that we can to stay healthy. We're not going to give up. But understanding that there are definitely two reasons why it feels like it's all in your abdomen.
Visceral fat, like you were just saying, is it's active. Like it's metabolically active. It's going to be putting more glucose into the bloodstream. It's going to start causing metabolic chaos because of its presence. It isn't just regular fat that we can easily move through and burn off. It's not something that's easily accessible by our energy sources. Visceral fat is a little different metabolically. So it can be a real problem when we have more of it.
Right. And we actually don't know why fat in the viscera, which is that area surrounding the organs, is more harmful than fat that's stored under the skin. But there's a clear link between diabetes, heart disease, and like I said, increased inflammation with people who are having more visceral fat. And then also people who have more visceral fat have more abdominal fat and have more regular under the skin adipose tissue. So difficult to measure that too, because it is kind of around that abdominal area. You can't necessarily determine what's adipose and what is visceral. I know that you can kind of, as someone who's very in tune with your body, see a difference, but a lot of people can't. And so the 5 pillars that we're going to discuss are fiber, blood sugar regulation, immune health, which is also going to be related to inflammation, nervous system regulation, and physical activity. Those are all 5 things that are contributing to the abdominal fat. Not to miss the next episode, do us a favor, subscribe, like this episode, share it with a friend, because really the way that we give you what you want to hear is by you telling us and by you giving us feedback. So thank you for being here. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Thank you so much for listening. We offer personalized support to clients in many ways and would love to work with you. Reach out to Laura at Lala's Wellness and Molly at Women's Gut Health for more information. Unlock your full health and hormone potential with Supercube, Boom Bomb, and Best Tea. Check out the link in the show notes for more. See you next Saturday.